That's good. All right. Thank you very, very much, Katrina. Um, so, guys, we do our workshops on Tuesday evenings, usually at 6:30. At 6:30, when we have no COVID-19 type stuff, and people are here and we're interacting. What I'd encourage you guys to do is, subsequent to this, is to make sure you fill out the simple survey questionnaire that we have in regards to the workshop, and then we'll have conversation about it. One of the things that's tough is trying to get people to interact and to have questions, and really, that's the key to everything that we do here. Our connections are important. But I want to say thank you. We don't have a lot of time. We don't have a lot of time in doing these things. I usually will walk back and forth. I'll walk up into the screen. I'll do those things. But my goal or my hope for you guys is I promise to give you information that you can use and to gain more knowledge. I mean, to be open-minded in your aspect of everything that's going on, because a lot of people, especially nowadays with everything going on and all the stuff that's happening, there are a lot of people that are making statements, that are not professionally, they don't have doctorates, and people are taking the words of other people, and people are making statements like, I don't want to die, and honestly, I think the fear factor is just going back up again, and I don't want you to have fear, but hope. My hope is that you'll take information here that you can use that will help you stay healthier and keep your immune system better. And having said that, we really need to be aware of the things that we are thinking about and doing about, and and interacting with. It's scary times for some people, and the more tools you have in your toolbox, the better. So let's begin. So today we're going to be talking about sitting less. They've not jokingly, but they have stated that sitting is going to kill us. I mean, it's like the new smoking, the inactivity and the sedentary lifestyle is really being affected. Is really being affected by sitting a lot. The connection between our lifestyle and the quality of life that we have and the longevity we have are really important, and movement is an important part of that, right? So is your lifestyle helping or harming you? This is a question that you have to look at. And I've told these stories again and again about myself, but it's not about me. It's about lifestyle, about my mom, fracturing her leg, not knowing where the pain is, and not feeling the pain until it was too late. I've had knee surgeries. I mean, my lifestyle was hard. I mean, the things that I used to do to my body, and the migraines that I had, I wouldn't be here 30 years later if I had continued to live that type of lifestyle. So there are changes that we have to make, and understanding that change is the only constant that's out there. Even amongst the viruses and the things that are out there, they adapt to our ability. To once we become immune to one, they adapt, they change those things. That's scary for some people. But really, ideally, like we talked about last week, is you have to build your own strength, and you have to build your own longevity into your lifestyle, and the habits that you form are really important. But it changes as we age. Okay, our body changes, our joints change, the way we process things change, and you have to be aware of those changes, and you have to accept them. And it doesn't mean you have to slow down. You just have to doing it at a different pace. Slow it down? No. One time I remember I used to race remote control cars. Wasn't very good at it, but I loved tinkering with the little, nitro gas engines and things of that nature. And someone turned around to me, and I never thought about it. This was only like, I don't know, 9, 10 years ago. And he goes, slow and steady wins the pace. Wins the race, excuse me. Slow and steady wins the race. And it really is. We really have to be methodical sometimes about the things that we do. There's other sayings about, the stars that burn the brightest burn out the quickest. There's a balance there. There's something that you have to look at and maybe address to those things. And sitting has become, like we're like animals in a zoo. And if you really look at all the people with anxiety and all the people with, with a sort of OCD type tendencies, we wonder, because if you ever watch an animal in a zoo behind a door, behind those glass doors, what does a polar bear or a bear or any animal or a tiger, what do? They pace because they're not in their natural habitat. And really, sitting is not really our natural form. We're made to move. So really, is your lifestyle helping you or is it harming you? So you got to start with that question and really think about the things that you do. This past weekend, I always tell stories in between, but this past weekend, my family went to see a friend in need, close family friend, my wife's best friend from childhood, and I was home. I stayed home alone, and I had all these plans to do things, but I was so exhausted from the week that my body just said rest. So that's what I did. And then when you have people in need, you have to be there for them. You have to help them. You have to be there for them because you never know when you're going to get that chance to help that person. And I truly believe we were placed on this planet to serve and help others. You may not feel that way, but I do truly believe, because this workshop is not about you. It's about those people that you share it with and those people that you let into your life and understand. And if you're a parent, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not a parent, you still understand what I'm talking about. It's just that it's not the commonplace out there, because everybody is out for them. Everybody thinks everybody's out for themselves. And you have to look out for yourself. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but it's a different lifestyle when you're living a life of service. So I again will go back to, what is the lifestyle you've chosen? Are you helping or are you harming? Okay. How many hours a day are we sitting? This is crazy, especially with the new, everybody. I know that now with all the Zoom calls and everything else, because I've been teaching online, and you sit in a chair for 6 hours, right? You sit in not do anything, and it's just, it's horrible. 21 hours versus 3 hours. Is that okay? That's basically what it's doing. Kids sitting, playing on the computers, playing games, sitting watching movies, binge watching. Those are the types of things, and we must become cognizant or aware of those times and those things that we look at, because this spinal structure is not made to sit for that long. Okay, you're sitting down here, you're putting about 40% more of your body weight into your lower back, so that's causing more problems there. And we have to be aware, that sedentary versus sitting is a big difference, okay? When you're sleeping, that's when you're really sedentary. Sitting is also sedentary, but sleeping is good, right? Because it helps to correct your posture, because if you're sleeping in the right direction, in the right way, okay? And we have a whole workshop on proper sleeping. But sitting, no matter what you do, is bad. So sedentary can be, sleeping, sitting, okay? But sleeping could be good. Your body's recovering. It's doing the thing that it needs to do. Your posture is good. Sitting is bad no matter what you do, okay? You can sit up straight all you want, but the thing is you have to get up and you have to move. So unfortunately, most people look at it, and like I said, sitting is the new smoking, and sitting is really about the lifestyles we choose. So sitting on a bicycle, different than sitting in a chair, right? If you're a long-haul truck driver, The air seats are great, but that constant bounce, it's called hysteresis, is going to degenerate your spine quicker. And what happens is that pressure will cause those discs to start to deteriorate. So you got to make sure you're hydrated, and a lot of people aren't hydrated. So there's a lot that goes on with that, and that's why it's important for people that are sitting for long periods of time to get checked, right? So the average typical American each day, sleeping 8 hours, sitting at work 7.5 hours, watching TV an hour and a half if you're lucky, right? So here, if you look at that, that's 9, that's 17 hours. Leisure time, and you might not be able to see this, I'm reading it off. Leisure time is an hour and a half, right? Oh, I just want to relax and have a drink. Okay? Hey, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that the fact is you add all this stuff up and then you sit and you eat. You add an hour, so basically you're actively standing 3 hours a day. Now, there are some of us that do physical jobs. Okay? I'm fortunate. I'm up and around. I'm moving around. So I'm not always sitting, but I still sit throughout the day. And it drives me nuts because I remember, in May I did some continuing education workshops and classes. And in doing those classes, I was sitting from 8 o'clock in the morning to 6 at night. And a lot of people do that for their jobs. But when you're an active person, that hurts. And I could feel it. And I was like, how can people do this all day and just not want to get up? But some people do. They just sit. And then they wonder why their backs hurt or things happen. It is really, really bad it's really bad for your body. So we have to make an effort to get up and do stuff to keep us active, right? So the time is now to change our choices and improve lifestyle. Yes? You have to look at work, if you're sitting a lot, see if you can get a stand-up desk. And you can transfer in between the two if you get a desk that goes up and down, okay? That's really important. You need to be able to change the positioning. It's tough when you're sitting in a truck. One of the things that people don't think about is how they just getting in and out of your car, right? So most people, so if my car is facing this way, right? This is the driver's side. Most people will open the door and step in like this and try to get in. So this position is putting torque and twisting into your spine, okay? What's happening is you're putting stress on your back. And if you get in and out of your car a lot, that makes a big difference. The best way is to actually sit in your car and then swing your legs in. So it's funny because people watch me, and if you ever watch somebody that has a back problem, that's how they get in and out of their car. Okay? So it's important that you are getting in and out of your car that way. And then when you set up your car, what I have a lot of people do is you got to make sure the headrest's upright, so that your head is upright, and that when you're driving, your hands are like at a 90-degree angle. So they've been teaching a lot of kids now that it's 9 and 3. When I was growing up, it was 10 and 2. Well, keeping your arms like this for a long period of time is very, very, very uncomfortable for the arms and cause numbness and tingling. So if you have them down here, it's just like sitting at your computer desk. You should have a 90-degree angle, right? So this way you're not reaching out like this. So everything should be close. You want to give a little bit of space between your stomach and obviously the steering wheel. When you're working on at your table, you can get as close as possible. You really want to give yourself the comfort, okay, not too comfortable, but enough that you're sitting upright in your car and that your feet are extended in a way that they're supported underneath. It's not always easy because it depends on the car, but it's really very, very important that you do that. And then when you get out, what you want to do is you want to turn and then get yourself up like this, because if you notice, I'm using both legs at the same time to get up and get in and out of the car. When you're trying to get in and out of your bed, if anybody here, and many of you have had back pain, what do you usually do when you have back pain? You turn to your side, swing your legs off the side of the bed, and then you get up, right? And then you push yourself up, because you can't get up any other way. Okay? That's the way you should be doing it on a normal basis, but people don't think about it. So those are just part of some of the things that we look at. But really sitting, you need good support. You need to make sure your feet, your legs are supported. It's not cutting into your thighs, that you're sitting upright. But you have to get up and move, regardless of, and the time is now to choose that. Before, what you've done before is done. You can't change it, okay? But it brought you to where you are. You can choose to change it now. And a lot of people are working from home now, and their desks at home are their coffee tables or their kitchen tables. A lot of people are struggling. They're looking down at the computer monitor instead of, because they're using a laptop instead of having a large computer monitor in front of them. So there's a lot that goes into it. And you know what? When we're home, we're more likely to sit down than stand up and work on the computer. Yes? Most people would. So you have to be very, very aware of what you're doing. So make yourself aware of those things and make little changes. And a lot of people have been coming in recently, especially over the past few months, that have been working from home, and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe how much my back hurts. Exactly. That's what's going on. So what's common in sitting in media? Average daily media consumption: television, internet, outdoor radio, newspapers, magazines, cinemas. So this is up until about 2015. There's each one of those consumes minutes a day, right? So you're looking at television. Okay, is the largest portion of it. You may see this, you may not, but it's a bar graph. Okay, and then you have internet. Okay, internet has become much more because of the streaming, so you could probably add this and television together now because we don't really have a lot of television. And then it comes here, but you're looking at, you see, there's a steady increase, and we're getting close to like 500 minutes of sitting because of all this media stuff and what we're consuming. And now people are sitting and watching the news, okay, which is a whole nother gambit of things unto itself. Just because of the negativity. But, 500 minutes of sitting, calculate that in hours. Okay, if you divide 500 by 60, okay, 480 minutes, okay, is 8 hours, yes? 6 times 8 is 48. 480 minutes. Yeah, 8 hours. That's crazy. That's just on this stuff. That's what we do every day. And, it's interesting because it's... a lot of people will do it at work. They'll be saying, oh, I have to take a break from work. And what do? They get on the internet. Get up, go outside, take a walk. Those are the things that I would say, rather than sitting and perusing the internet and going shopping or doing whatever it is you're doing or streaming something, get up, go outside. I mean, it is warm outside right now. I mean, it's like in the 90s now, so it's brutal. But just go outside and get some sun. Get up off your feet. Off your bum and get on your feet and walk a little bit. 500 minutes, there it is. 500 minutes equals 8 hours a day. 300 minutes equals 5 hours a day. That's a lot. So when people tell me they don't have the time to do stuff, stop doing this. This weekend, like I said, I just crashed. And periodically I do that. And I sat on my couch and I watched a show that I like, a show that I watched, Marvel's. It was a Marvel show. It's a comic book type thing, and I like stuff like that. Oh, it was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I caught up on a season, and I watched it. But I would get up, I would cook, I would eat my stuff, and I went out. I would take a walk. However, it was wasted time really because I didn't get much done. But that's what happens. We sit. Okay, and we sit, and this is what ends up happening, and then you wonder why our culture has so many chronic disorders and diseases. Okay, because this is part of the fact that we're very sedentary in our lifestyles, but it's not a good sedentary. It's a bad sedentary. It's the sitting that's going on, and we're not getting out and moving around, and that makes us more susceptible. It makes us a petri dish to bring in any bad bugs into our body. So you have to really be aware of those things. Where are we connecting? Americans use electronic media 11 plus hours a day. Now it's probably more. because of COVID-19. I don't have those numbers yet, but I can guarantee you it's more, especially the kids going to school online last year. The hours are crazy, and especially the kids. Like I look here, and these are just averages, right? Average time spent with electronic media in 2014 in hours and minutes in Q4. So these are the most recent results that I have, but it definitely has to be upgraded because right now things are changing. You know, game consoles, live TV, that's not changing now. It's streaming TV. Smartphone, that has definitely increased. Radio, a lot of people don't listen to radio a lot anymore. Internet on a PC, an hour. I'm guessing it's more. Game consoles. You know, it depends on who you're also. Is it a younger generation or an older generation that you're looking at from these charts? So this is a Nielsen chart. So it comes from Nielsen, the company that does the TV stuff. So it's something that we have to look at. So what happens when we sit 9.6 hours a day? It leads to joint problems, digestive issues, obesity. And think about it. Look at the person on that screen. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that person is sitting on the screen like this in front of a computer. How many of you sit like that all day long? And you try to sit upright, but after 30 minutes, those muscles are going to fatigue, so you have to get up and reset them. Digestive issues. How many people have digestive issues now? Because you're not getting the motility into your system. Well, you need to move. Neck pain affects 10% of the world's population. An extra 2 hours of sitting daily is linked to an 8% increased risk of colon cancer. Think about that. 8% increased risk just by sitting 2 hours a day. Joint pains affect 30% of adults. Okay? So you look at that, that's close to that 50%. 50% of the people with chronic disorders, right? And then 25% of women and 15% of men have visible varicose veins. Enough said. Really, there's not much to say. Back pain, one of the most common reasons for lost productivity. It makes sense because people can't move, they can't do anything, and when you hit your back, hits your whole core, you can't do much, right? And sedentary people are 200% more likely to have heart problems. Why do you think that is? It's pretty common sense because the cardiovascular system isn't working that hard. And then when you get up and try to move, it works really hard and it's stressing itself. We need to work our systems. We need to get our heart rate running, but we have to do it in a way that is good for us. So getting out, exercising, moving around, doing those types of things. So, just a simple walk every day will get your body moving and getting the blood flowing. Okay, the reason for the varicose veins, the varicosities, is because of stagnancy. Because your legs will swell or those types of things. Because the blood isn't flowing. So you need to keep those things flowing. Okay, that's part of the problem that we're looking at. So quality versus quantity. So look at that. Less time sitting is linked to better sleep. Why do you think that is? And this was published in the Huffington Post, and it was the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, and it's a National Sleep Foundation. Sitting less than 6 hours a day ranked with the highest quality of sleep. Less than 6 hours a day. Six to 8 hours sitting. I mean, you look at these two, and you look at, fairly good to very good. So if you look at the whole thing, people are sleeping better when they're walking around and doing stuff. Why? Because the body is saying, hey, I need rest to recuperate, and it's allowing you to sit down and do those things. So The average person is sedentary 21 hours a day. 6 hours of it, if it's sleeping, that means 9 hours is sitting. Okay, not good, not good. Sitting is more dangerous than smoking, killing more people than HIV, and is more treacherous than parachuting. We are sitting ourselves to death. Dr. James Levine, Mayo Clinic, Arizona State University, Obesity Solutions Initiative. That's not me saying it. That's a doc in the Mayo Clinic. You got to get up. People who sit 6 hours a day or more die earlier than those who sit 3 hours a day or less, are more likely to be overweight, are 47% more likely to be depressed, usually have some sort of, are more likely to have lung and or endometrial cancer. And even for physically active people, the risk of developing these cancers worsen with every 2-hour increase in sitting time, like we talked about earlier. Every 2-hour increase of time increases your risk of getting cancer. So why wouldn't you get up and start doing stuff? It's really simple. It's really easy. You don't have to, it's not, it's not rocket science, although I've had a rocket scientist here, so it was kind of cool. You just have to get up and move. Okay, get up and do something, because just look at these numbers. It's common sense. But did you know that they were that closely connected? Our longevity is affected by our lifestyle choices. Sitting leads to 3 of the major problems we have in our society today. A lot of obese people, not all, but a lot of them have diabetes. Okay? Heart disease is one of the major killers, and so is cancer. More so than what's going on now. If you combine, I think, cancer and heart disease together, it's probably close to about 3,000 people a day. Okay? It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. It might not be 3,000 a day. It's pretty close, though. It's a large number, because if I remember correctly, and this I'm pulling it from my memory, cancer is about 1,600 a day, and I think heart disease is somewhere around that number too. Really, honestly, it's simple. I don't know what else to say. You guys know this. I don't have to tell you that it's bad for you, but looking at these things, what are you doing? I mean, these are simple habits that you can change. Why aren't you doing them? Why aren't you letting people know? Just look back at physically active people. The risk of developing cancers worsened with every 2-hour increase of sitting. And you wonder what's going on in our society. Effects of long-term sitting are not reversible just through exercise or other good habits. The only way to minimize the risk is to move more and sit less. You have to limit the time we spend sitting daily. You have to have good habits. You have to have exercise. Those have to be part of it. But the only way to minimize it is sit less and move more. Pretty common sense. Okay? And the thing is, people are like, oh, I don't sit that much. Well, think about it. Keep track of it. Look at what you do throughout the day and think I'm too tired to do a physical job. Okay, I get it. But how much are you sitting? Are you sitting in a loader? Are you driving a truck? Are you're lifting? You have to really look at these things. To know is to know. To not know is to guess. First step is awareness of how sitting is killing us. You need to understand that it is causing a lot of health problems in this country that can be helped just by getting up and moving. Second step, sit less daily and have your spine checked, right? Why checked? Because most people don't think about having their nervous system checked. Why not? I don't know. Because most people know that they got to brush their teeth. They know that they have to do exercise. They know that they have to eat properly. They know all of these things. But most people don't understand the importance of what's going on and the priority of the nervous system, because the nervous system controls everything. Okay? The pain receptors are only about 10% of the nerve system in many different ways that they look at it. But ultimately, our nervous system controls everything that goes on in our body, and you need to get it checked periodically to make sure that it's not causing a problem. And you may not even feel pains or aches, but it's just like a plant that's dehydrating. It needs water, okay? But it doesn't just need water. It needs good soil and it needs light, okay? So you need more than just food, exercise, and rest. You need good communication between your brain and body, okay? If that's not there, all that other stuff is going to work, but not work as efficiently, okay? And it's not going to work as well because eventually it's going to die out if you don't take care of it. This is where the nervous system is attached in. We have charts here in the office, and we just have to make sure that our nervous systems are checked. Chiropractors are the ones that look at to see if there's subluxations, and this is the missing piece. Enough said. You know, we don't look to this as much as we want to, but in order for the body to function at optimal levels, your body has to be functioning at good levels, but the spinal structure has to be sound so you can do those things. So the question is, what are you going to do? Who are you going to tell? Who are you going to get on these workshops? Who are you going to say, hey, go get your spine checked? Who are you going to get involved and engaged with you in helping us all improve our community's health? Improving your health, starting with you. What are you going to do today? Are you going to get up and start moving around? Or are you going to just sit back and keep watching TV? Or are you going to sit in front of that computer? What are you going to do? I really would love for you guys to fill out the questionnaire that's on here. But for those of you watching, chime in and just tell me, what action step are you going to take today that will help you get to the next level of your health tomorrow? Because today is the choice. And who are you going to let know that needs to be checked that doesn't know what you know? I thank you guys for watching. One of the things that I have some more slides if you want me to go through them, but don't guess about your health. Make sure that your body is going in the right direction, and make sure that the nervous system is clear so it gets full function. I thank you guys for watching. Don't forget, type in what your action step is. Type in what you're going to be doing. Who are you going to tell? Who are you going to say, hey, needs to watch this, just so they understand how much they're damaging their health? Type it in. Fill out the survey questionnaire. And I love you guys. Peace and love to all of you.